All right, guys. Well, today I'm going to do something I usually don't do. I'm going to do a repeat from an earlier video that didn't get much attention in a series I did titled Things I've Learned from My Golden Retriever. Now, I guess not many cared about the theological lessons I learned from my dog. But the thing is, I think the subject was important enough to repeat it. So I'm going to try and do this one again and name it something different. So let me start by asking you, have you ever struggled trying to harmonize the thought of a sovereign God with the free will of man? Well, today in Footnotes, we will turn to my golden retriever, Kobe, to see what we can learn from him in this matter. Now, before we begin, I'd like to ask you to do me a favor, hit those subscription, like, and notify buttons to help us out on the channel. And I want to thank those of you who have started to support the channel financially. Now that I'm a full-time YouTuber, that really helps us continue what we've started here. Well, enough of that. So in this video, we will look at two concepts that seem to contradict one another. First, there is God's sovereign control over all things. But running alongside of that, we have man's ability to choose and make decisions for his own life. Now, that does present a problem, doesn't it? If God is in absolute control of everything, of all things, and sovereignty tells us that he is, even to the point of determining when a sparrow falls to the ground, and you'll find that in Matthew 10:29. So if he is in control to that extent, and he is, how can we still have any freedom at all? I mean, is that even possible? Maybe we're just pre-programmed machines, created automatons, marching to a divine drumbeat, and what we think are choices really aren't choices at all. I mean, can I choose what color of jeans to buy, or is that predetermined? Does God care if I choose chunky or smooth peanut butter? Maybe I should pray first to make sure I'm in his will. Is it okay to go to the movies? Can I watch the NBA playoffs? I mean, how far does this whole sovereign divine control thing go? Am I just a puppet whose strings are controlled in heaven? Or do I really have freedom to make choices? And if I do, how does that work? Well, fortunately, my dog was a consummate theologian, and I'm going to share what I learned from him about this issue. When we lived in California, every time I took my golden retriever, Kobe, into the hills for a walk, I saw how all this works. I was the one who was firmly in control of all things. I determined when we left for our walk. I determined the path we'd take. I decided when we got there and when we turn around and head back. So you could say I was the sovereign ruler of that walk. But at the same time, my dog had tremendous freedom. He was all over the place. He'd be 20 feet in front of me, then 40 feet in back. He would be to my right, then on my left. If he saw something interesting, he had the freedom to check it out. If it needed a good sniffing, he stayed until his sniffer was satisfied. In other words, he was doing what he wanted to do. And he was having the time of his life. Now, because there were coyotes in the area, though, if I thought he was a bit too far from me, I'd call him and he'd come back to my side. I was in control and I was protecting him from danger. That was my responsibility, and because I loved him, I took it seriously. So I imposed my will upon his walk when it was necessary and made sure he was where I wanted him to be. Now, here's the thing. Kobe had freedom the whole time. He went where he wanted to go and smelled what he wanted to smell. He chased what he wanted to chase and dug where he wanted to dig. But at the same time, I never lost control of where we went and when we went there and when we left. And isn't this how it is with our Lord? We're free to go to the movies, visit friends, watch sports on TV, and spend time with our family. So we are making choices all the time, aren't we? We have that freedom. But all the while, God is in complete control, directing our life so we end up where we are supposed to be, do those good works we are supposed to do, and meet those individuals we are supposed to meet. God will make sure of it. Why? Because he is sovereign and he is in control. So the balance is this. Every day I enjoy tremendous freedom while walking in the sovereign control of God. Well, man, my golden retriever is really smart, isn't he? I think I'm going to ask him to sort out that whole Calvinist Arminian thing. Well, guys, God bless you. Remember to hit those buttons. And I guess if I were really cool like the other YouTubers, I'd say smash those buttons. So do it. Smash those buttons. And if you'd like to help finance what we're doing here, the links are in the description. Well, God bless you guys. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.